All right, where are all my teenagers at? Where are my teenagers at? Parents, if you're watching this, go get your teenagers. Go get your teenagers. I need your teenagers to listen to this. Attention, teenagers. Listen, listen, listen. Hello, teenagers. Where are you? Hey, this is for the teens out there. Hey, you may be just totally upset with mom and dad right now. They're making rules that you don't like. You're thinking, I don't need to go to bed at midnight. I don't need them to turn off the internet. They don't need to turn on my phone. Why are they just being like this? Why are they being mean, mom and dad? I totally get it. And teens, I don't want to lose you on this. I don't want to lose you on this. Talk with moms and dads and teenagers all day, every day. This is such a common conversation that we have, and I want you moms and dads to listen to this, and I want the teenagers, y'all. I totally get it. And here's the thing: when we're looking at kind of these house rules and these expectations and all that, like when you get to be a teenager, right? Developmentally, you're getting to a time and a place in your life where you're having to start to make decisions for yourself. I mean, some of you are going to work. You're going to work without mom and dad. You're having to make decisions at work without mom and dad. You're driving, right? You're driving. You have to make big boy and big girl decisions while driving, right? You're going to school. There's lots of things that you're doing. You're making choices. You're doing things on your own. You're making decisions for yourself. And mom and dad are involved in it. I get it. And then when you come home, it's like mom and dad they want to rule. They want to take over. Here's the thing. There are certain things, and I always ask mom and dad, this is the caveat. I always ask mom and dad to be reasonable in what they're asking, what they're expecting, okay? If mom and dad are being reasonable, what this comes down to is just your mom and dad are their role as a mom and dad is the authority in the house, right? Oh my gosh, I'm losing some of you teenagers right now. I'm losing you because you've heard this before. When you're in my house, or when you're living under my roof, or when you're on my payroll, you do as I say, not as I do, right? You know that mom and dad are in charge. But here's the reality. We all have authority figures in our lives. We all have authority figures. And I think part of being a teenager is learning, okay, even when you don't agree, and you think your mom and dad are making an awful decision, the learning in this is being able to work with authority, is to be able to say to yourself and say to the authority, all right, I understand, I respect your decision. Because you're going to have authority. We all have authority in our life for the rest of our life. And I think a big part of this, part of it is being able to respectfully be able to advocate for yourself. I think parents, you got to listen to your children if they're being respectful. Okay, parents, if your teenagers are being respectful and they're not calling you names, they're not being derogatory, they're not doing all that stuff, then it's healthy. It's healthy for them to advocate for themselves. All right, but when mom and dad make a decision and it goes against whatever you believe or whatever you think, okay, that's the time that you have to respect mom and dad as your authority, all right? And you're going to have to accept whatever decision they're making, all right? So for me, when I'm in therapy with mom and dad and teenagers, I'm not trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong. I'm trying to figure out how you can come together and agree together to work through whatever it is. And I work with the teenagers, and I'm like, hey, what do you want to get out of this? What do you want to get out of this? And I also work with them and talk to them about how mom and dad's the authority, right? Mom and dad's the authority, and that's part of their role as mom and dad. When you get off their payroll, when you turn 18, or when you move out of their house and whatever, you get to make your decisions then. But until then, you're going to have to respect what mom and dad are deciding. And that's probably like 10, 15, 20% of your overall day-to-day life. I'm sure that you get to decide a majority of what goes on in your day-to-day life. Mom and dad probably just have a small percentage of it. And then for moms and dads, I want them to be reasonable in their expectations, and then be proud of their children. Just know that their teenagers are they're trying to develop, and they're trying to grow up, and they're trying to make decisions, and they're being pulled and pushed in lots of different ways. And just listen to your children, listen to your teenagers, and when you feel like it's necessary, make that decision that may go against whatever they're thinking or asking. But when it seems reasonable, go ahead and understand and go with them. All right, moms, dads, teenagers, you guys are going to be the ones that decide on Thanksgiving, on Easter, on holidays, on birthdays. How tight is your relationship? How tight is your relationship? How connected are you? That's the most important part, I believe, in children and parents' relationships. Some of this is, parents are responsible to help their children learn kind of the rules of the road and all that. I understand. We can get into all that, but the connection, because your family is there for life, and I want you to enjoy your family as much as you can. All right, y'all? All right, let's get along. Let's listen to each other, and let's respect each other also. All right. Thanks for watching today. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup.